During my sophomore year of high school at Devon Prep, I was doing a project for entrepreneurship class, and we had to interview different people that started their own businesses. So I asked my mom who in her network I could reach out to, and she introduced me to a high school friend of hers, Ambrose Regan. Ambrose and my mom went to high school together in the town that we're all from, Westchester, Pennsylvania, which is about 45 minutes outside of Philadelphia.
So I had founded and started a few businesses in the early 2000s around recruitment technology. So I was happy to help Christopher with his entrepreneur project. I was immediately impressed with his questions and presentation skills and his focus on doing a good job on his assignment. You could tell he was extremely smart. I called Christopher's mother, Beth Ann Muth, after speaking with him and told her he was a pretty impressive kid. I think he was only 15 or 16 years old at the time. And then for the very first time, Beth Ann told me about the amazing story of Christopher's early childhood.
When I was 2 years old, I was diagnosed with a rare form of childhood cancer, and I underwent 2 years of treatment at the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia before I was declared cancer-free. And then I was continued to be followed for years after that. And I think for me, personally, going through that experience at such a young age with my parents and my brother kind of gave me this unique perspective on life and how I look at life and how I go about things. It also gave me a drive to really want to give back to people, whether that be the hospital I was treated at or people in general.
The next year, Christopher came up to visit some colleges in the New York City area with his mom and dad. And while he was up here, he told me that he was really interested in Drexel University in Philadelphia.
I think for me, it was a pretty easy decision to pick Drexel for my college. I think when I looked at all the pros and cons, the cooperative education that Drexel offers, being able to go to school and work part-time through their co-op program. So half the time you're going to school, half the time you're working. I think that was a no-brainer for me, just based off of my previous experiences and the entrepreneurial lifestyle I was kind of looking for.
Christopher had already started a successful business in high school and earned accolades as a young entrepreneur, so I thought Drexel was an excellent choice for him to study and nurture his desires to start his own business.
My freshman year at Drexel started off great. And then March of 2020 rolled around, and as we're all familiar, the pandemic started. Finally, sophomore year rolled around, and we were finally able to be back on campus. And this was around the same time I was starting to do my first co-op search for Drexel and look for a job as the work part of my work and school combination.
Christopher reached out to me about August 2020 regarding his first co-op position, and I thought, boy, you picked a fine time to be looking for a job, given what was going on with the pandemic and that workforce had been pretty much turned upside down.
A few weeks after I signed on with my co-op and had everything lined up with that, I got a call from Ambrose saying, hey, I think we can take this process that we used for you, which is the same process he's used to help other people navigate their way through job search, and we can commercialize it. After Ambrose explained how he could commercialize that process, I kind of thought about it and the experience I went through searching for my co-op job and what my friends went through searching for theirs. And I said to him, basically everybody I know could use this just to help them save time and really eliminate the search and the job search.
I had great relationships with some of the best tech and architect developers of recruitment technology around the globe. So our first mandate was to eliminate the hours and hours of search someone needed to do by delivering to a customer without any work on their part job opportunities that they were both qualified for and be interested in applying to. I'm going all the way. I had started working with Patrick, who was in his senior year at Temple University, which is about 3 or 4 miles away from where Christopher attends school at Drexel University.
I was excited to meet Ambrose after hearing such positive results with my brother Christopher's co-op search. And I had been searching as well for several months. And I just figured, why not meet Ambrose and get a game plan set? We jumped right in. I followed all the processes Ambrose scheduled for me, and I had 25 job applications sent to me, and by the end of the week, I had several interviews set up. So I was really excited.
I told Christopher that for us to be successful, we needed someone who was manage customer service at a very large scale.
So then I called my brother and said, wow, this really works. This is really a cool idea. And I was just amazed how quickly the recruiters reached out to me to schedule interviews.
Ambrose called me at about 12:30 or 1 in the morning to tell me that he gave Patrick a paid internship. I said, I know, Patrick called to tell me, and he's really excited. And Patrick doesn't get excited about anything. Ambrose said exactly and hung up the phone.
I called Patrick about a day after offering him a paid internship and said, you know what, Patrick, we need you on board if we're going to be successful. And Patrick simply replied, that's cool, I'm all in, which was pretty much the most excitement Patrick had shown in the last 9 months. I knew that if we were going to be successful, we needed to have Patrick on board because Patrick is an athlete and hockey and golf are his passion, both pretty difficult sports to play. But by being an accomplished athlete, it meant that Patrick was extremely coachable and teachable. So when I saw on his resume that he'd also achieved a .9 US Golf Association handicap, that meant to me that he works hard, he's very process-driven, very analytical, and critical of his own performance. Patrick's a very intuitive thinker and a problem solver, and that's exactly the type of leadership that we needed to deliver the type of personal service we wanted for our customer. I'm going all the way. To be a golfer, to know that a typical caddy is the person who carries players' bags and clubs and gives the player advice and moral support. But a great caddy is one that is also aware of the challenges and obstacles of the course being played, along with the best strategy in playing it. So the analogies to job search, which everyone I know and have consulted with over the years finds very difficult and filled with a lot of traps and hazards along the way, was a perfect brand name for us. Because what CareerCaddy does is it eliminates procrastination in a job search. It gives someone a place to start and stay focused, and it provides the customer with great time management to be more effective. Easily the most common obstacle I've seen people have when starting a job search is fear, because it's the unknown and the uncertainty of what they're about to do that drives that fear. And I think that's what CareerCaddy will provide to our customers the most. A way to be fearless in their job search, to not go it alone, to have a starting point and a game plan and a process to execute on it for their own successful outcome. Staring down the face of resistance.